Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fachira and I'm here with my friend
Cindy.
and today we're going to talk about formalist approach.
20th century was dominated by extrinsic approach. Formalists reject these ideas because they believe that poem or any other work should be objectively evaluated, separated from the author's feeling or reader's reaction. These ideas then become widely known due to the release of Understanding Poetry by Brooke on 1938. Formalism also has many other names, such as the New Criticism, Modernism, Aesthetic Criticism, Textual Criticism, and Ontological Criticism throughout its long and successful history. Well, long before these ideas are widely known or the release of the book, there are two British figures that provide the foundation for this analysis. Well, from Richards, formalism adopted the method of practical criticism based on experiment where he gave students poem without context to analyze their response. This led him to develop a system emphasizing close reading, which is when readers are paying great attention to detail or basically deep reading the text or any work, which later becomes the signature for formalism. And T.S. Eliot believes that critics should focus on the poem, not the poet. He also argues that poetry is impersonal. It is not about the author's emotion but built using common human feelings. He also contributed key terms like objective correlative.
Now, what is it actually? So, formalism is an approach that examines a literary work by analyzing its element, showing its inner tension, and showing how every aspect of the literary work itself contributes or supports to the unified meaning. This approach allows readers to understand the literary work, the meaning of the literary work, and it also provides a set of norms for their interpretations so that it maintains the objectivity. Alright, when talking about meaning, you need to remember that context controls meanings, which means every word or phrases that is used in one particular literary work is special and unique to that one particular literary work. So for example, the diction. Critics usually focus on the diction first because words that is used might have multiple meanings. And this actually shows the tension. One of the tensions is ambiguity. Ambiguity is when there's a conflict between the denotative or the literal meaning to the connotative or the implied meaning. And there's also other tensions such as paradox and irony, which will be briefly explained later. And they will also focus on rhyme scheme, matter, or any elements that shows how the language is formulated in that text and how it contributes to the meaning. Then they also discuss theme, tone, or any imagery that is used in the text and how those elements unify or unite the entire poem or works.
There are many key terms or key concepts you should know first. The first one is objective correlative. It is a set of external aspects that evokes the reader's reaction without the author directly stating them on the work. Practical criticism means looking only at the text itself when analyzing a work without using the author's background, history, or any external information. Aesthetic experience is a special kind of truth that can only be felt through imagination and not science. Ontological means stands as its own, whose meaning comes only from the text. And organic unity means all parts of literary work are related and work together to create unified meaning. Next, we have intentional fallacy. It is when a critic interprets a literary work based on the author's intention or private experiences. An affective fallacy is to interpret a literary work based on the reader's personal feelings or reaction. heresy of paraphrase. The form and the meaning of a poem or literary work are inseparable, thus it cannot be paraphrased. Irony, a meaning that contradicts the one is stated. For example, an ironical event is when there is a contrast between expectation and reality. Paradox is when a statement contains contradictory aspects. And lastly, ambiguity. It is the conflict between denotative and connotative meaning.
Okay, to understand the approach better, how about we apply this theory, this approach, to a poem? Take a look at this poem. This is To an Athlete Dying Young by Alfred Edward Husman. So this poem states a paradox that the early death of the young athlete is to be celebrated rather than to be mourned, which is the real theme of the poem, and it adds the dramatic effects that grabs the reader's attention. Now, as you can see in line 9 to 10, the funeral is treated as a triumph for the young runner. So it connects the day that he won when his friends carried him shoulder high in triumph. It is connected to the day of his funeral when his friends also carried him shoulder high to his home. Then in the line 11 to 16, the laurel here is a symbol of fame, and the rose is an emblem of beauty. Here, the laurel withers even quicker than the rose. Fame outran the fastest runner and left him behind. However, the athlete died young before his fame faded, because when he died, his eyes cannot see the record that he broke, the loud cheering that filled the room when he won or something. Next, there's also a paradox in line 22. In here, the poem describes a grave using the seal of shape is a brink of the grave where the young man has just put his fleet foot, and then the edge of the grave is the low lintel when he still holds the defended cup, the challenge cup, the trophy. So when he stepped up into the door of steel, when he in the brink of death, and he is still lifting the trophy that he won. So this poem made the readers put things that are usually unrelated into a pattern, which gives meaningful relation. The last stanza uses the contrast between the laurel and the rose again. It is hinted in the phrase, the early laureled head. So the fame disappears even more quickly than the beauty. The garland of laurel, the young athlete, withers even faster than the garland of beauty of the roses, which girls usually wear. So this poem contrasts between the death of the young athlete to the death of young girls where she is like still young and beautiful. It is pitiful that at least the girl who died at a young age gotta keep the beauty, because the beauty is remain untouched, as if it's a victory, a triumph in this context. So the poem successfully evokes emotion using comparison. The use of paradox is also important because paradox often evokes mental alertness and awareness, which is in this case, it prevents the tone of the poem to go soft. In the same way, the use of symbols like the laurel and the rose, the use of detail and image, the use of suggestion. So instead of blatantly saying flat statements, they use comparison instead. All of those meanings are indirect. This means that the reader must do close reading to discover the meaning. Alright, that's all for our explanation in this videos. Here are the sources that we use for the videos, and yeah, for watching this video, I hope you understand better about Formalist Approach. And thank you very much for watching these videos. See you in the next opportunity.